It's official, folks. After days of speculation, reports, and rumors swirling all over social media, the deal is now signed, sealed, and confirmed. The player we've been talking about, the one who's been at the center of all the buzz, is now a member of the Dallas team. This isn't just chatter from obscure sources or wishful thinking. This is real, it's verified, and it's happening. And honestly, it's probably the most significant move Dallas has made in years when it comes to building out their offense and reshaping their wide receiver room. If you caught our previous video posted earlier today, thanks for tuning in. We had a strong feeling this was heading in this direction, and now we can go even deeper, connect all the dots, and give this conversation the attention it deserves. Because yeah, it might have gotten buried under all the draft hype and the chaos that usually comes with this time of year, but make no mistake, this trade changes things. For Dallas, for their quarterback, for their offensive identity, it's a shift that could ripple into the season in a big way. Let's break it down. According to the official details of the transaction, the team acquiring the player, Dallas, gave up a 3rd-round pick and a 6th-round pick. In return, they're not just getting the player, but they're also receiving a 7th-round pick. We don't have confirmation yet on the specific years these picks are from, but let's be real. It's most likely tied to the upcoming NFL draft. Now, here's what's interesting. It may be even a little surprising. Dallas gave up a 3rd-rounder instead of a 4th-round pick, which many people expected. A 4th might have felt like a steal, maybe even a bit of a head-scratcher for the other side. But the 3rd-round price tag? That feels intentional. Like Dallas really wanted this guy. Like they saw him as the missing piece. This wasn't a casual pickup. This was strategic. Before the draft, this whole conversation around wide receivers for Dallas was kind of fading into the background. Everyone was focused on other positions, thinking maybe Dallas would stand pat. But with this trade, the conversation is right back on track, and it's louder than ever. What's more, it looks like the team may end up with some compensatory picks, potentially more 6th-rounders, depending on how things shake out. It's not the kind of blockbuster return that makes headlines on its own, but for a team playing the long game, those extra selections can be useful chips. Now, as for the player himself, let's talk about him, because this isn't just a depth move. This is a real acquisition. Dallas needed someone who could step in immediately and contribute, someone who could complement their dial one, stretch the field, be that vertical threat, that red zone option they've been sorely missing. And based on what we've seen, this guy checks those boxes. He's young, he's athletic, he brings size and strength that you don't always find at the position. We're talking about a guy who ran a 4.47 40-yard dash, which might not blow you away on paper, but combine that with his frame, his physicality, and the way he wins at the point of attack. It makes a difference. He's not some finesse receiver who disappears when the game gets physical. He brings a level of toughness to the position that Dallas has lacked since, well, maybe since a certain player retired years ago. And I know people love to make comparisons, but stylistically, he brings something unique to this offense, a profile we haven't seen in this system in a while. Now there's a reason he was available. We have to be honest about that. Talent-wise, he should have been off the market. But as always in this league, it's not just about what you do on the field, it's about everything else. And in this case, there were definitely some concerns. We're talking about a player who's had issues with punctuality, reportedly racking up fines for being late, not just to meetings, but even to actual games. That's a red flag, no question. It suggests there might be maturity issues or maybe a lack of discipline. Things that don't sit well with coaching staffs or front offices. His previous team clearly had seen enough. They wanted to move on, and when a team decides to part ways with a talented young receiver, especially one with his skill set, it's worth asking what's really going on. There were whispers about friction with the coaching staff. There was talk that the relationship behind the scenes had completely deteriorated. That doesn't mean he can't bounce back, but it does mean Dallas is taking a calculated risk here. This isn't a sure thing, but here's where it gets interesting. The offensive setup in Dallas is the best he's had in years. The quarterback he'll be catching passes from, easily the most capable he's ever worked with. The scheme, it plays to his strengths. This is a fresh start, and if he's willing to buy in, it could be exactly what he needs. And let's not forget, Dallas didn't have to give up a 1st or 2nd round pick to make this happen. A third rounder is still valuable, sure, but it's not a franchise-breaking asset. It gives them room to maneuver. It gives them flexibility moving forward. And listen, Dallas had zero realistic chances of landing one of the top-tier wide receivers available this offseason. Whether it was because of cap issues, availability, or the simple fact that those guys weren't on the block, it wasn't happening. So this was the best-case scenario. They got someone who could legitimately be a WR2 or even push toward WR1 status depending on development, without having to gut their future draft capital or throw around a huge contract yet. But will they? That's a whole other conversation. Because now that he's in the building, you have to think about long-term commitment. Will Dallas be comfortable putting big money into him down the line? Especially when they've already got a top receiver who will eventually need to be extended. We're talking about potentially locking up $60 to $65 million. Across just 2 receivers, that's a lot, even with the cap going up. And even though they passed on paying another guy in the past, maybe they keep this one on a prove-it deal first. See how the season goes. Gauge the locker room fit. Evaluate the production. You also can't ignore the player's agency situation. He shares the same agent as a couple other big names who've recently moved. So there's always that behind-the-scenes angle. It's possible this deal was part of a bigger chess game, laying the groundwork for future moves, keeping options. Open, building relationships. That's how these front offices operate now. It's not just about the X's and O's anymore. So here's where we stand. Dallas gave up a 3rd-round pick and a 6th, and in return, they got a player with starting potential and a 7th-round pick. That's the basic framework. There are still conflicting reports out there about the additional details, some saying a 5th-rounder might be involved, others claiming it's strictly 6th and 7th-round swaps. But what we know for sure is that the 3rd-round pick is the key piece here. That's the price of admission. That's the bet they're making. And look, maybe a 4th-rounder would have been a cleaner deal. Less pressure, fewer expectations. But a 3rd-round pick makes a statement. It says Dallas believes in this guy, that they're willing to take the risk, that they're not content with just maintaining the status quo at wide receiver. And personally, I don't hate it. Would I have preferred to only give up a 5th if that was somehow on the table? Sure, but in this market, with this level of talent, a 3rd feels fair. If it works out, this could be a steal. If it doesn't, well, we've seen worse deals go down involving even higher picks. And in terms of the salary implications, it's not like this is a top 5 draft pick or a mega contract. There's wiggle room here. And the upside is real. There's always risk with players like this. Yeah, players who have the tools but come with baggage. Players who flash but haven't fully put it together yet. But sometimes that's where you find value. Sometimes that's where a team can turn a middling trade into a game changer. Dallas needed someone with this profile. A big-bodied, physically dominant, aggressive wide receiver who can go up and get it. And now they've got him. And here's what I want to know from you. How are you grading this trade? On a scale from A to F, where do you land? Are you feeling optimistic, concerned? Do you see this as a savvy move or a desperate one? Drop your grades in the comments and let's get into it. Your takes are always highlighted in the pin section, so don't hold back. Let's keep the conversation rolling because this is just getting started. Now let's shift gears just a bit and dig deeper into the player's profile. Not just the on-field stuff, but the full picture. Because if this move is going to work out for Dallas, it's not just about route trees, contested catches, or red zone mismatches. It's going to come down to whether this guy buys mentally, emotionally, and culturally. And that's where things get a little murky. Let's be real. There's a reason the previous team gave up on him. You don't just move a young, physically gifted wide receiver without serious cause, especially one who's still on a rookie contract. What we've heard paints a story of a player who clashed with coaches, missed meetings, and even showed up late to actual games. That's not a minor locker room disagreement. That's deeper. And even if he was fined, or which he reportedly was multiple times, the problem was consistent enough that the team ultimately said, "We're done." Here, that should raise red flags, but it also puts a spotlight on Dallas and their coaching staff. Can they manage him better? Can they give him the structure he clearly needs? It's going to take more than just a strong offensive scheme to turn this into a win. It's going to take leadership from the quarterback, from veteran players, and from the head coach. Someone in that building has to be willing to hold him accountable, to set boundaries, to keep him focused. If not, we could see the same issues resurface in a different jersey. But if Dallas handles this right, if they find the right balance between support and discipline, this kid could thrive in a way he never has before. This could be the turning point in his career. And there's another layer to this. The quarterback. This is easily the best quarterback he's ever played with. We're talking about someone who's accurate, experienced, and capable of elevating the guys around him. That alone can be a game changer. Sometimes all it takes is the right QB to unlock a receiver's full potential. So while there are reasons to worry, there are also reasons to believe. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. The wide receiver room in Dallas looks a lot different now. Adding this guy changes the dynamic completely. You got your WR1, who's already a proven playmaker. You've got emerging talent behind him. And now you've added a player with WR2 upside who brings a totally different physical profile, one that complements the other pieces around him. That kind of variety matters. Defenses will have to adjust. They can't just key in on one guy anymore. And if this player does what he's capable of, we're looking at a potentially top 10 receiver group in the league. But here's where the skepticism creeps back in. Are we putting too much faith in a gamble? Is this one of those moves where the risk outweighs the potential reward? Only time will tell. But from a fan's perspective, it's hard not to be cautiously optimistic. The talent is there. The opportunity is there. And most importantly, the cost was manageable. A third-round pick isn't nothing, but it's also not the kind of asset you lose sleep over, especially if you hit big. Let's not forget either, even if it goes south, there's a chance Dallas ends up with a compensatory pick down the line. That softens the blow. Worst case, it was a low-risk experiment that didn't pan out. Best case, you just stole a high-ceiling receiver for a mid-round pick and changed the face of your offense heading into the next season. That's the spectrum we're working with. So again, this trade might not make every headline, but it matters. It matters because of what it could become. It matters because Dallas is clearly trying to win now, and they're not sitting around hoping for something to fall into their lap. They made a move. They're betting on upside. And in this league, that's sometimes all it takes. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a fiery and unexpected turn of events, Ezekiel Elliott has finally broken his silence regarding his tumultuous exit from the Dallas Cowboys, and he did not hold back. The former All-Pro running back, once considered the face of the franchise, unleashed a scathing critique of the Cowboys organization in a recent interview, revealing deep frustrations and a sense of betrayal that had long been simmering beneath the surface. Elliott, who was released by Dallas in 2023 after 7 seasons with the team, expressed disappointment in the way the franchise handled his departure. It wasn't just business. It felt personal, Elliott said, his voice tinged with emotion. After everything I gave to that team, the way it ended was cold. His comments reflect a sentiment that has been echoed by many NFL veterans who feel cast aside once their prime years are behind them. The running back didn't mince words when criticizing what he described as a lack of loyalty from the Cowboys front office. He claimed he was left in the dark during critical contract discussions and felt disrespected by how quickly the team moved on. They used me up, and when they were done, they didn't even look back, he said. No. Thank you. No conversation. Just gone. Elliott's tenure in Dallas was marked by explosive performances, Pro Bowl appearances, and a rushing title. But it also came with injuries and a decline in production. Still, he believes he had more to give and that the Cowboys never gave him the chance to prove it. I was never just a player. I was a leader. I was the heartbeat of that locker room, Elliott stated. This public airing of grievances has reignited debates about how NFL teams treat aging stars and how players' legacies are often overshadowed by business decisions. While Elliott has since moved on, signing with the New England Patriots, the emotional wounds from his time in Dallas clearly remain. Only time will tell whether bridges can be mended. But for now, Ezekiel Elliott's words have sent shockwaves through the NFL, painting a stark picture of the often harsh realities behind the scenes in professional football. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.